This guy's a support, by the way. Welcome to Honest Hero Spotlight featuring Ultron. The support? Alright, just looking at this guy's kit, I could already tell this character is fundamentally misclassified. I know, not every support has to be a heal bot, but good lord, look at this. This support has better range than any DPS could imagine. His basic attack charges up, dealing 72 damage over time, plus an extra 75 burst damage with unlimited range. Which begs the question, who thought this was a good idea for a support? I mean, if somebody showed me his basic attacks and put him on the DPS roster, I wouldn't question them. Because how could you look at his attack and think this character was made to support your team? The only thing bro supports is his damage stats. The Rivals dev team really just slapped a support tag on a 50 cal sniper rifle and called it a day. Actually, just glancing at this guy's kit, you would think he was a DPS, because the devs thought it would be cool if they added support who vaporize anybody who came into contact with him. Ultron passively can fly. Comboing this with the same amount of damage Widow has for her attack is the ranged activity. Ultron's playstyle is straight up hella with the ability to take off angles in the sky. For reference, Hela is considered one of the most oppressive DPS characters in the game, and Ultron matches her damage while flying and gets placed in the support category. A character who had a movie about how he was going to get rid of all of humanity via meteorite and also has a playstyle of a sniper is put in support category? What? I like the idea of strategists having the ability to fly, but to be able to eradicate half my health bar completely breaks what a support should be. Ultron's shift ability, dynamic flight, gives him a dash to any direction he is moving, then gives him bonus health and a speed boost for 8 seconds. I'm not a huge fan of movement abilities that give burst amount of movement because it works like a get out of jail free card. It allows a more aggressive playstyle for Ultron since he can make a wide swing and not worry about getting punished for it. But I think flyers like Iron Man just feel very clunky to play. Since you're in the sky, you don't really have much options for cover, as a on the ground character would have. I would have let this slide if he was more of a healing support, but not only does this guy have unlimited range with barely any fallout, damage of a DPS, the ability to fly, countering all melee characters / dive, he also has instant mobility. Like, we are 6 months in, and the power creep is already crazy. What is the balance team smoking? Because it has to be strong enough to kill a whale. There's no way they allowed this to slide in testing. If you catch Ultron with his pants down, not only will he blow your head off, he gets a shield and movement speed, making it harder to catch the guy or duel him. I mean, at this point, I think he's just a better Hela, since he can move in 8 directions instead of Hela's 2, while having more sustain than Hela. But at long last, we are here. The part of his kit that allows him to be the ugly duckling of the support role. Ultron Z Imperative Patch puts a healing drone on a teammate, healing them for 50 health per second, plus a small 8-meter healing aura that heals allies for 35 health. And it breaks if you lose line of sight because it's the only way devs could get Ultron players to play as support. I can't lie, this ability is horrible. Because spoiler alert, this is his only consistent healing. Apart from his ultimate and team up, this is the only healing you are getting from Ultron all game. The fact that you have to rely on Ultron giving you this drone when he is storming the beaches in Normandy to give you less healing of a rocket, only if he gives you the drone, is insane. Otherwise, you have to get close with your ally who has the drone to get half of the healing. But if Ultron turns a corner, you can only pray that he comes back, or you have 5 seconds until your life support gets unplugged and you are reduced to ashes. This ability sucks as Ultron, because you constantly have to reapply it to your team when either of you break line of sight of each other. And if you don't have it down, then your team will get mad at you for not doing your job of a support. But for your team, it's worse, since they have to group up to get the most healing out of you, which is less than the rations you would get in an elementary school pizza party. Meaning Moon Knight will decimate their health bars, and they'll ult faster than the speed of my dad leaving me. The best compliment I could give this thing would be good healing for your fellow flyers, or as a secondary way of healing. But this is it. This is the only way you get healed. I can't even say this ability is better than Luna Snow's Share the Stage ability, since you only have slightly more healing than it. But at least you don't have to worry about line of sight, or your team having to worry about being the only source of healing. The only character that this ability out-heals is Mantis. At least Mantis gives its allies a burst of 55 healing when she first applies it. But it gets better. Ultron's right-click Imperative Firewall grants 75 bonus health to himself and 55 bonus health to his allies in an 8-meter radius, which allows your team to block a whopping 1/3 of Ultron's attack. That's it. A grand total of 2 abilities is all Ultron has to support your team with, and both are horrible. If Ultron was designed as a main healer with these 2 abilities, he would be great. Some might say even busted. But as the only 2 ways of keeping your team alive, it's just a crime to keep this guy as a support. I don't know why the devs keep telling us Ultron is a support when this kit shows nothing but a selfish playstyle. Ultron's ult, Rage of Ultron, summons a firing squad that shoots a burst of 5 projectiles 5 times, healing allies for 125 and damage enemies for 40 per shot. Ultron's ult is another part of this kit that's just done way better. You could use it just to heal, but at that point, just use a better support ultimate. His ultimate damage is alright, but if you want real damage, just use a real DPS ultimate. Ultron's ult is trying to be 2 things at once, but it's just bad at both. His ult only covers a small portion, while Luna Snow's healing is the size of half of the damn map. His ult isn't something I would rely on either. It's going to be very common that an Ultron just straight up misses shots, considering support is just the least mechanically skilled role. Ultron gets a team up with Iron Man that gives him the power of nanotechnology, which finally gives a beam that both heals allies and damage enemies. Yes, it only takes a team up with a DPS character to get the privilege to support your team. Thank goodness. Now when I play tank, I can set a timer every 30 seconds in anticipation for my well-deserved healing. I can't believe this kit made it through the drawing board, or even thunk up by any human being with a functioning brain. There's nothing in Ultron's kit that is useful enough for your team that they have to go out of their way to give you a team up and triple support comp. Ultron needs both his team up and triple support to even be close to viable. But at that point, there's just other characters that work better even without all the extra pampering that Ultron needs. The only pro in Ultron's kit is that the imperative patch drone that is good to use on flying heroes, and maybe his insane attacks. The con with Ultron is everything else. Like, there's no motive to use this character apart from throwing the game. I think Ultron's abilities aren't strong enough like Atom or even Mantis. Mantis doesn't heal with her basic attacks, and she's not great because of her overall lack of supporting power, similar to what Ultron's kit is. But at least, her kit makes her play around her team, healing herself every time she heals or damage boosts one of them. Atom also suffers from the same issues of low healing, but has another strong ability to help his team survive bursts. He does a fantastic job of preventing his team from being bursted and doing bursts himself. But with Ultron, he is kind of focused more on doing damage himself rather than damage boosting or healing your team to let them shine, which is the whole point of support, to be there for your team. The only thing preventing Ultron from just going out and treating every game like it was a team deathmatch game on Call of Duty is the line of sight restriction placed on Imperative Patch. Otherwise, why would an Ultron stick around this team? Even this doesn't stop Ultron from not noticing that he might have broken line of sight because he is so busy at shooting at the other team because that's what his kit tells him to do. This is why I don't like Mantis either, because it's really easy to get tunnel vision and keep damaging instead of helping your team. The rest of his abilities are just selfish until you get to his team up. And even then, you do 70 damage a second, so you could still very much use it as a form of damage instead of support. I think if Ultron had one more ability that gave his team like damage reduction or bonus movement speed, I think he would be fine. but at this point, I recommend to just make the guy a DPS. A flank support would be nice, but not designed like this. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or your favorite Marvel Rivals character will get the Ultron balance treatment.